And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, today we're taking a look at a game called Resistor. This is a two-player game, and if I recall my 80s movies correctly, the only way to win this is to not play it. The only way to win is not to play the game. But apparently, the people who are about to go to nuclear war with each other have not yet learned that truth. So what you're doing in this game is both players are starting at a high level of DEFCON 1. We're about to go to war. But you are trying to attack your opponent's computer systems and bring the DEFCON level for them down. Because once the DEFCON level's down, then you attack them and you win. That's kind of I think that's what it is. Yeah, it is. That's a very grim... Yay, my supercomputer made your supercomputer think nothing was going to happen, and then we destroyed you. Okay, don't worry about that. That theme is not that heavily in the game. The game is all about flipping and maneuvering these cards here, these circuit board cards. Let me show you. The first thing I want to point out is the box here. This box is the typical box. There's a hole in the lid, which normally would really annoy me, but you put all the cards in this inside box like this. You then place them in here, so the hole in the lid doesn't matter. But the hole in the lid does matter when you're playing the game, because you put the lid on the box like this, and you stick this in like this, and then you can draw cards from here. Now, I have the cards in the wrong way. The cards are supposed to go in with these arrows facing down, and this way it lets you pull cards from here. The cards are double-sided, so it really matters, without knowing exactly what they are. Now, when you pull cards, you're going to have these cards in your hand, and you're going to be able to see one side. So this is what I'm seeing. My opponent is seeing this, and you'll see there's different combinations of red and blue circuit connections on these, and that's basically what they're all going to be. Some cards also have transistors, which is an important part of the game, and you can see part of the side while your opponent sees the other. Each player is going to start at DEFCON 1, that's like this, and they're going to start with some random cards, 7 cards placed in between you. Now, what your goal is to attack the other player. So for me to attack the other player, if I'm the red player, is to get a red circuit thing from mine all the way over to him. If I do that, then that player will go to DEFCON 2. After DEFCON 2, then they go to DEFCON 3, going to DEFCON 4, and if I hit them on DEFCON 4, then I win the game. Now, players are going to do that. They have 3 action cards that you use on your turn. When you're done, you just flip it and give it to the other player. One of them is to draw and trash. You draw a card, you add it to either your hand or your opponent's hand, and then pick another card from the hand you added this to and trash that card. Then there's flip over. That's pretty simple. You pick a card in the middle and you flip it over, working like this. Boom. You'll see it kind of changes how the card looks, but it's not a big deal. But this is going to change how the circuits are. Hey, look, that really helped out blue. Good job, whoever's not trying to help blue out. And then finally, switch out. That is where you can take a card from either player's hand. The side that you can see is the side that you put down. So let's say as a blue player, I would probably put this one here, and then take this card in my hand while my opponent can see this. Again, once you manage to put a card down, like this, you can see blue. Oh no, blue is not connected. I thought blue was connected, but blue is not connected because the blue line goes here and does not continue. So let's see if we can set it up so blue is connected. I believe this would work. All right, so blue. No, man. Yes, there we go. So blue, all the way across. You can see that blue goes from blue all the way over to red, so red gets hit and goes to DEFCON 2. And that's what you're trying to do. That's basically how you win the game. Now, there's these transistors. When a transistor shows up, and that comes in the line, immediately you're going to check and see if that transistor connects with a color back to your side. So this doesn't happen. This doesn't cause anything to happen because it does create a blue line straight back to red, but it doesn't do anything. However, if the transistor had been placed so that it was this way, the transistor connects back to the blue with a blue connection, and therefore blue would go down a DEFCON level. So you can see here blue's at DEFCON 2. That would take blue down to DEFCON 1. When after that's done, then any card that's connected through a line, and so you can see all these blue cards are connected with a line, are flipped over like this. And then the transistor is destroyed and everything gets a little closer together. This has revealed another transistor, and so we check this one. It doesn't connect to red, doesn't connect to blue with a complete color line of those, but again, it causes anything connected to it, so this whole red line here is going to get flipped over. So you can see a bit of a chain reaction can happen here. Once that happens, then this one is destroyed. They get pushed in a little more. Another transistor has shown up. This one here does not connect to the red because there's red, but then it goes to blue. So basically, it just goes away. Now the line is much shorter. Now, if this line ever reaches each other, then the game instantly ends, and whoever is at the higher DEFCON is the winner. If you're both at the same, then you both lose. So I guess that's some consolation. Otherwise, the first person to attack the other person when they're at DEFCON 4 is the winner of the game. There's also another card you can add in, a lockdown card, and when you play that on your turn, you can basically pick one that your opponent cannot flip over. So you have these actions, you use them, you pass them to your opponent, you can use them in any order you want. They do the same thing, pass them back to you, and you keep going till one player wins. Now I'm a huge fan here of the design of these cards. I really like, well, as you can see, they're super shiny for one, but I really like how they have this circuit board look to them, and it just has a really nice clean feel as I put them out and manipulate them around. They're big giant cards too, and this box and the way you pull them from the box, that's pretty nifty. As for the game itself, it's just a game of manipulating cards, flipping them, trying to get them in the right order. Sometimes it's just not going to be the way you want it to be, but I found it a pleasant affair. Flipping cards, sometimes there's, you're guessing, and there's a bit of memory, like I can see what you have, and I know what I have, and if I flip this card here, I need to remember what's on the back of it. I'm really bad at that. I can't remember what's on the back of anything. I know where transistors are. It's easier to remember that. And transistors kind of, when you saw how it was like pop, 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 that's, to me, is kind of a fascinating part of the game. But in this game, it is very possible for someone to attack someone else, and then you say, oh, I need to stop the attack. You flip it. You're like, yeah, on my next turn, I'm attacking you again. And you can lose pretty quickly, but then again, the game isn't that long, so it's not a big deal. The theming of this game will probably annoy some people who don't necessarily want to see supercomputers cause one civilization to destroy another. But if you get past that and just look at the circuit boards connecting, I find that incredibly fascinating. I like the different wires connections. I like how they crisscross. I like how you have the different actions and you pick the order that you take the actions and the cards. A little bit of memory, which I don't mind. A little bit of maneuvering, which I like a lot. Turns us into a solid, good two-player game that is not totally unique. I've seen games before where you manipulate things, but feels a little bit fresh, especially as the line shrinks as time goes by. I don't know that this game is for everybody, but I think there is a decent amount of people out there who are looking for maybe a 20-minute quick two-player game, and the look, I think, of this game is going to appeal to those folks. And if you like the idea of manipulating cards to connect rows, check it out. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.